Hello everyone, welcome to Friday Sews. I'm Christine and this is Christine Sews a Lot. Today I'm going to first start off with what I have made, and I need some help for my sewing plans. So let's get into the only item I completed since last Friday Sews, and that is the Hinterland Dress by Liberated. I'm not going to talk too much about this dress because I'm going to do a full review of the pattern. I did use that, I call it a purple window pane dress. It might be a little bit heavy for summer, but I have no regrets. I used some vintage buttons that I got from my Aunt Mary Lou's button jar, and I used one of my labels from the Kielo machine advent calendar from 2 years ago. I will say I'm very happy with this make. So the only other garment that I worked on since last Friday Sews was I did a toile or a muslin of the Scout Tee by Grainline Studio. I had some poplin that I had picked up in a fabric swap to use for the muslin. And for a while this was going great, so I thought maybe I'd finish off the neckline with some binding and a little label, but then it started looking like a dog's breakfast. My number one problem was that I picked up a stomach bug when I was visiting my son and his family, and I was recovering from that and trying to do some sewing. What was I thinking? How many times have I come on here and said, should not sew when tired? Obviously, you should not sew when you're really still in recovery mode from a stomach bug. But I did learn some things about the pattern. I purchased this recently at 5/8 Seams in Charleston, and I picked up the pattern because I've seen so many people talk about the Scout Tee as a great way to use up smaller yardage amounts of a woven fabric. So I thought I'd give it a try. I bought it in the 14 to 30 size range, and in that size range there are bust dots, and this is where I could use some help from y'all. In this pattern, and I did a look through some of my other patterns I picked up recently, and I've seen it in other patterns, so I do need to know how I want to deal with this. The bust dart was cut out before you construct the garment. Now, I was Zooming with my sew sisters last night, and several of them had said, yes, they've done bust darts that way. One of the positive things Madi was saying was that it reduces bulk in the dress, and that she liked this, especially if you've got a lot of a dart to take out of the dress. I was not feeling well, so I think part of my problem was that I do need to go back and read the instructions more carefully. But where my issue comes in, I need to do a slight full bust adjustment, and I need to lower the dart by about 1/2 inch. So I need to get my head around how to do it. I have lowered bust darts many times. It's something that I often do, and maybe I just need to do it how I normally do, but it's going to take a little thought. So I'm curious if any of you have frequently sewn or mastered sewing these bust darts. What I thought was interesting, and let me show you from the inside here, was that they have you sew starting at a 1/2 inch seam allowance, the bust dart, and then you taper and sew to a point. And I don't think I did the best job of it. I mean, it kind of looks okay on, but I'm not going for kind of looks okay. And one of my concerns too was leaving all of this unfinished. I don't really want to serge it and have the lump of serging stitches in here. So if you've got some advice or guidance, hit us up below. I think we'd all like to learn from that. So anyway, that's something that I'm going to be exploring and learning, because the Trillium Dress made by Ray also has the bust darts come out, and one other pattern that I recently picked up has that. So that is something I'm going to be working on. I think my first step is I'm going to really do a nice cleaning of the sewing room. I'm feeling much better. I was able to go to work yesterday. So the other thing I could really use your help with is what I should sew next. I was Zooming with my sew sisters last night, and I was having a little bit of a pity party of what should I sew next. I just wasn't feeling it. I wouldn't call it a loss of sojo, but it was a loss of direction. I am very much someone who wants to sew in the moment. I can, when needed, sew for deadlines. If I'm going to be sewing for a collaboration, or in particular Christmas or birthday gifts for family members, I can make my list, I can knock it out, and I enjoy sewing for them. But when it comes to sewing for myself, I very much am a, what do I feel like making at the moment? So while we were talking last night, I made myself a little list. I went through my stash hub of patterns that I own, and I thought, well, I could make a patina blouse. I have done a muslin. I enjoyed it. It's very pretty. I think I'd like to wear one. The Darling Ranges, the River Curve dress, the Boardwalk skirt. I know I'd wear the heck out of that this summer. I have the Nova jumpsuit in the little short version. The Kielo wrap dress with sleeveless because it's summer. And I do know that I want to make the Mave skirt. I recently picked that up when True Bias had their sale on, but I'm holding off sending that to the printer to be printed because I thought y'all might have some ideas. I do have some patterns that I have not printed out yet and I've purchased, and I'm open to looking at some new patterns. Please help me out with some suggestions. I did sleep on this, and it really became clear this morning what it is that I want to sew, because it's what I want to wear. I would really like to have a new dress. I have recently purchased some rayon challis, and I would really like to make myself a pretty dress. And I'm looking to make a pretty dress that I'm gonna wanna wear everyday situation. I'm not looking for a special occasion dress. I'm looking for a pretty dress that I'm gonna feel really great in, that I'm just gonna wanna wear to work, or wear to church, or wear around the house with my husband. So if you have some suggestions for pretty dress patterns that you think would be nice for me, let me know below. I'd sure like to get your input on that. Right now, I really do want to wear that Trillium Dress made by Ray. I love that silhouette, but I don't want to tackle the whole bust dart situation because it has the bust darts cut out. I'll need to do a full bust adjustment, lower the darts, and there's shirring. Now, I'm pretty confident that I can quickly pick up the shirring technique, but on this dress, the Trillium, which was previously known as the washi dress, you do the smocking after you complete the dress. So that's going to take a little extra thought. And right now, I need some instant gratification. I want to quickly sew a dress that I'm going to fall in love with this beautiful fabric and want to wear. I know I'm super needy today. I'm asking for help with the bust darts and ideas for what I should make next. I want to thank you in advance. So hit us up below and let us learn from each other. Charlie and I had a fantastic week with our youngest son, Andrew, visiting his family. We had a lot of great one-on-one time with our granddaughter, and I have a cute little snippet I'm going to insert of Charlie and our granddaughter dancing in their Hudson pants. They liked matching each other, and That's yet another reason why I sew so much for my family. Thanks for joining me, and I look forward to hearing your ideas of what I should sew next. And speaking of what's coming next, this is what YouTube thinks you'd like to see next.